Hi everyone, I'm Sharifa Sultana from Cornell University. Today I will present our paper Chasing Luck, Data-Driven Prediction, Faith, Hunch and Cultural Norms in Rural Betting Practices. This work was done with Mobaidul Haq Majumdar from Kuwait and Sadish Diak Ahmed from University of Toronto. ACI research predominantly uses scientific rationality to explain users' behavior, decisions and interaction with statistical model-based and data-driven systems. However, the set of values influential in many users' life and rationally in data-driven system often do not cohere. This mismatch often makes AI more unpredictable and inaccessible to the users, especially those with limited understanding of statistics, probability, and computation. In this paper, we explain how data-driven prediction, faith, hunch, and cultural norms harmonize together in rural betting practices in Bangladesh. In this work, we investigated how did rural Jashorian communities define betting and set its relationship with prediction, how did the bettor interact with platform and fellow bettors, which of the factors influenced their betting decision, how did they negotiate with multiple rationalities, their judgment, and their perceived justification. We conducted a 10-month-long ethnographic study in 7 villages in rural Bangladesh. In these 2 phases of work, we engaged with more than 150 people from 27 families, watched cricket matches with them, and followed their betting practices. Our work was supported by local NGO, namely Rural Reconstruction Foundation. We found several rules and protocols of rural betting practices. For example, bettors formed groups only within their trusted network. Many bettors depended on experts and made collective betting decisions. Experts aimed at maintaining harmony among the bettors and ensuring maximum collective benefit and a minimum loss for individuals. We also listed some factors influential in rural betting. For example, bettors bet for earning easy money and sustaining their personal economic reliefs. The bettor respected the mosque and prayed on time to succeed in betting. Many of them also had stigma and superstitions. For example, one of the participants believed in misfortune brought by specific people and explained how to avoid them. Robi and Raju pseudonym are Kufa guys. They always lose. So we will also lose if they hold the same bet as ours. We also found that some bettors bet because they wanted to gain reputation as a risk taker, which could help them engaging in other economic activities in the society. We found that bettors' local calculation and prediction often use details with emotional and sentimental values. For example, one of the participants explained to us how they values the retirement of an international player in their betting. Malinga is retiring today. It means that Sri Lanka will try to win the match with their life. There is no way to win a bet against them today. There are several moral and social justice aspects in rural betting. We found that many of the social and religious norms were tangential to bettors' moral values. For example, they often expected to lose bets during Ramadan. So they often sought blessing from other holy spirits so that God spared their sinful bets. For example, a male bettor mentioned that one of his betting accounts was not bringing him much luck since the SIM card was not blessed by Fakir Gorib Shah Majar, tomb of locally renowned holy Islamic person, and he planned to give the SIM card a tour to the Majar. We also found that many bettors justified their immoral practices even though they were sensitive to their socio-economic customs. For instance, 4 of the female bettors used homegrown vegetable in betting and used the money for their family. One of them explained how she thought it was unfair that her plant stopped growing melons after she used its melon for the first harvest from the plant should be donated to the mosque by convention, but I used it for betting as I did not have money that day, and now it has stopped growing melons. Our work has several takeaways. We will start with design implications. We found that betting decisions are often influenced by local moral values. Thus, platform that would allow the bettors to receive expert advice could help them make a balance between economic benefit and other social values in betting. ACI should develop situated understanding of privacy and design technologies using the local cultural resources in a way that would let the bettors know more about the local laws and warn them when they are close to violate one. Second, rationality, justification, and HCI. There are fundamental differences between the Western notion of rationality and rural traditional rationality of Bangladesh. In many cases, the Western society is individualistic and secular, and data-driven models there seldom involve cultural values. However, many global South communities, including Bangladeshi ones, are collective and influenced by traditional values. HCI and human AI designs should investigate local communities, look out for local materials and forms of other rationalities of local people, and integrate them in culturally embedded AI. And finally, post-colonial computing and human AI interaction. We found that there are fundamental differences between the Western ideas of probability and luck and that of Bangladesh. Western data-driven system count on past to predict the future, while many people in global south believe that their future is controlled by supernatural power, religious or para-religious beliefs, and hence focus more on pleasing the god and supernatural entities. This mismatch calls for integrating local ethics in AI system instead of global, secular, ubiquitous ethics for recommendation and designing more technologies for faith-based communities. Thank you, and I will invite question here.